Imagine being betrayed by the same people you put your life at risk to save, dying by them. This happened. It was a true story. It happened to a hero, a man of unimaginable integrity and nobility. If any man should be known in history, a household name, it's this man, Witold Pilecki. He was a Polish cavalry officer, intelligence agent, and resistance leader. He served as a captain with the Polish Army in the Polish-Soviet War. He was also the co-founder of the secret Polish Army, a resistance group in German-occupied Poland, and later a member of the Underground Home Army. He was the author of Witold's report, the first comprehensive Allied intelligence report on Auschwitz concentration camp and the Holocaust. Pilecki is considered one of the greatest wartime heroes because of his efforts. Poland's chief rabbi, Michael Schudrick, writes in the Auschwitz Volunteer, Beyond Bravery, when God created the human being, God had in mind that we should all be like Captain Witold Pilecki. Historian Norman Davies writes, if there was an Allied hero who deserved to be remembered and celebrated, this was a person with very few peers. But sadly, Westerners don't even know this man. That's shocking. It's because of bias and deception, and what I believe, because of his shameful and almost unbearable death. What did he do? Many amazing things. He fought bravely in the Polish-Soviet War, a war that many people don't know about, stopping the evil of communism from flooding into Europe. In that brutal war, he twice earned the Cross of Valor. But here I just want to concentrate on one of his many daring exploits and why the world should know his name, and possibly why it doesn't. This hero purposefully got himself rounded up to go in Auschwitz to find out what was going on. He wrote a report and then tried to alert the world about Auschwitz. Sadly, many people don't even know that Polish Christians went to Auschwitz. By the way, many died there. Together with a few other hundred people, I at least reached the bathroom. Pilecki's Auschwitz report reads, here we gave everything away into bags to which respective numbers were tied. Here, every hair of our head and body were cut off, and we were slightly sprinkled by cold water. I got a blow to my jaw with a heavy rod. I spat out 2 of my teeth. Bleeding began. From that moment on, we became mere numbers. I wore the number 4859. That was small and an early number for a camp that would 1 year later see numbers in the 15,000s. Pilecki's description of what the German officer told him, whoever will live longer, it means he steals. You will be placed in a special commando where you will live short. This was aimed to cause a quick and mental breakdown as possible. For the next 2.5 years, Pilecki slowly worked to feed his reports up to the Polish chain of command in London. And in London, the Polish government in exile told the British and the Americans, you need to do something. You need to bomb the train tracks going out of these camps, or we will have all these Polish paratroopers drop them inside the camp. Let them help these people break out. But the British and Americans just wouldn't do anything. He was screaming loud and clear, but the world would not do anything. This is a man who was telling the world about the murders of 1 million Jews and other victims, but no one would listen to him. A hero that actually went into Auschwitz to do this. Eventually, after nearly 3 years, Pilecki reported, further stay here might be too dangerous and difficult for me. He planned an escape through a poorly secured back door in a bakery where he managed to get a job. With a few other inmates, he ran into the night. Shots were fired behind us, he wrote. How fast we were running is hard to describe. We were tearing the air into rags by quick movements of our hands. He even escaped. I mean, no one escapes from Auschwitz. Well, very few. It's practically unheard of, and this guy does that. After his escape, Pilecki continued his fight in the underground. But after the war, when Poland was betrayed by the Allies, the Germans were replaced by a new occupying regime, the Soviets. Pilecki again was asked to gather intelligence, this time on ways in which the communists were establishing themselves in Poland. This patriot continued his work for his beloved Poland, wanting to keep it free. But here is where everything goes wrong. He gets arrested by these monsters in Poland and tortured and put on a show trial. He doesn't give anything away. Who was behind all of this evil? The communists, but more. This is where I'm getting a little politically incorrect and why you don't hear about him, especially in Holocaust museums and memorials, because most of the people involved in his trial, torture, and execution were part of the people he tried to save. Poland betrayed this man, and this man was betrayed. The investigation of his activities were supervised by Roman Romkowski, born as Nathan Grunskan Keikel, who worked under Chief Supervisor of the Polish Security Services, Minister Jakub Berman. Romkowski came to symbolize communist terror in post-war Poland. A well-known writer, Kazimierz Mojarski, a Pole from the AK, interrogated by Romkowski's subordinates from January 1949 to June 1951, described 49 different types of torture being endured. Beatings included truncheon blows to the bridge of the nose, salivary glands, shin, shoulder blades, bare feet, toes, heels, cigarette burns on lips and eyelids, and burning of the fingers, sleep deprivation resulting in near madness. This meant standing upright in a narrow cell for 7 to 9 days with frequent blows to the face, a hallucinatory method called by the interrogators Zakopane. Pilecki said his time at Auschwitz was child's play compared to this. Imagine, worse than the Germans, worse than a concentration camp. He was interrogated by Colonel Josef Rozansky, who was personally involved in torturing and killing dozens of opponents of the Polish People's Republic, including anti-communists and the cursed soldiers, basically other incredibly brave Nazi killers, heroes. He gained notoriety as one of the most brutal secret police officers in Warsaw. Judges involved were Zygmunt Witold, Alexander Warecki, aka Alexander Warenhaupt, Marcin Dang, and of course, Stefan Michnik. The approved death sentence on Pilecki was made May 25, 1948 by Judge Leo Hochberg. He was shot in the back of the head by Staff Sergeant Piotr Śmietański of the Polish Secret Police, nicknamed the Butcher of Mokotów Prison. He emigrated from Poland to Israel after 1968, as did many other war criminals, never to face justice. You may understand what I'm getting at, but what I'm saying doesn't sound right for what history should be. But history doesn't work like that. There are criminals and sadists of every race and ethnicity, and ignoring some because they are different or chosen is morally wrong. We cannot do that any longer. We have to speak the truth loud and clear. We are living in an Orwellian society, but it is our duty to simply tell the truth and speak the facts. Pilecki should be in every Holocaust museum. He should be honored around the world, but he is ignored. Once, though, by Hollywood, who wanted to make his movie, but he had to be Jewish in it. His Roman Catholic family declined. It is our duty, now that we know, to share this man's story, regardless of his most dishonorable and shameful death. Again, the name is Witold Pilecki. Please don't forget it.